talking to our royal correspondent, Rupert Bell. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. What the heck did Prince William have to do that was so important this weekend that he couldn't, as the president of the Football Association, attend the Women's World Cup final?
OK, I think we're going to have to... He was damned if he did, damned if he didn't, I think, very simply.
Who
Because
by?
if he'd gone, he'd have been damned by the environmental lobby.
Oh, who cares what they think? They're a bunch of nutters.
Well, hang on. Well, the other thing is, you've got to look at the logistics. It's not straightforward. Now, I know he's on his holidays, and yes, he could go, and I'm sure there were discussions, but it's not straightforward just to go for a flight of 20 hours, I think it is, to Australia. There are security implications. As the son of the head of state, sorry, it wouldn't be us footing the bill, it would be Australia footing the bill. So you have to look at the...
Wait a minute, how did Queen Letizia of Spain get out there then? Couldn't they have shared a plane out there?
I am sure discussions would have taken place about whether he should go. But you probably. I can't tell you if she's married into the family, whether she is by marriage or by birth. So I'll have to check my Spanish royal family tree line. That's my work sorted out. But I think you had to put it into context. He is a passionate football fan. It's not fake, his interest in football. No, I'm sorry, Julia. Naughty little aside there.
He's not that passionate, is he? I'm sorry. Do you believe for 1 nanosecond that he would have not attended the Men's World Cup final?
In Australia, I cannot tell you because logistically where it is. No, I think that's easy to say. We do not know. And that is easy.
I think that's absolute nonsense. He'd have been there. No question whatsoever. And so would Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, as well.
Well,
at least he's got the excuse that he's got a proper job.
Well, this is the debate about what does the Prince of Wales actually do. Now, his role within as president of the FA, he takes extremely seriously. And I know he makes regular unannounced visits to St George's Park. I know, as an Aston Villa fan, he will turn up at Bodymere Heath, the drop of a hat to go and see the players and be involved as a fan of that club. But as he's president of the FA, he takes his role extremely seriously. Now, you might say, well, why doesn't he get on a plane for 20 hours? OK, the result, that is the issue. It's not next door. The logistics for that are a bit more complicated for a member of the royal family just to turn up in Australia.
Let me bring in James Hill about this. He's a political correspondent of The Spectator. You've been looking into this as well, and you reckon there are whole sort of constitutional issues regarding official royal visits in this relation.
Yeah, well, I think it's due to the fact that obviously William is going to be next in line to be King of Australia as well, and the fact that Australia hasn't had a royal visit for about 18 months now. I think the last was April 2022 with Timothy Lawrence and Princess Anne. And that's going to be the issue here, which is that is it right that Australia, which has as its monarch our royal family, the first time they get someone visiting is just jetting in and jetting out to watch a football game, rather than doing an official tour, rather than actually going around and visiting people, visiting the government, for instance, which of course is a Republican Labour government. And do we want to put the monarchy there at risk?
He's not there on an official visit, would he, the Rupert Bell? He'd be there. He'd be there representing the Football Association.
Well, that is an official capacity that he's in. So he's in an official role as not only the son of the head of state of Australia, but him going there has a whole series of wider implications. It's not just as straightforward as him turning up and sporting as his president of the FA. Look, I remember Liz Fraser went she went, I believe, out there and was part of the dignitaries of the culture secretary went. Again, but that would have she presumably flew first class, and that didn't go cheap as well. So you've got to look at the cost implications. And
if we're going to worry about the cost implications of the royal family, I mean, that's a whole different ballgame. These are the events one would actually expect him to be. I'm just saying, I think he's put his foot wrong here. I think a lot of this is about the eco nonsense, and oh God, we'll be called hypocrites because we spout all this green nonsense and actually don't live it. What a surprise! Like every rich person who spouts this nonsense and goes around on private jets and has loads of houses. Well, what a surprise! But I mean, he should suck it up. He's supposed to represent the nation. He should have been there. I won't have it. He should have been there. Here's the thing. Let's talk about another thing that's emerged this weekend. This idea that King Charles is going to be a caretaker king and William is going to be the change maker. What do they mean by that? I don't think Charles thinks of himself as a caretaker. He spent his whole life waiting for this job.
I think one of the reasons the caretaker phrase is probably realising he's only in it for the short term. If you think it's like Queen Victoria, Edward VII only got 9 or 10 years. So in fact, his age, because he's 75, he just accepts that he won't be around and won't be serving anywhere near the length of time, not only his mother or probably most other monarchs, just because of the passage of time. Yeah. So what he sees his role as is, in a sense, there is an element of caretaker. He needs to keep it fit for purpose for his son when it becomes his time to be the king of this country. So that is the issue, and I think he will be absolutely right. That's why he doesn't want to do. He's not wanting to rock the boat in any way. Of course, it's coming up to a year now that he has been king in this country since the death of his mother, and it's basically been a steady hand on the tiller. When you think it's sort of, to use a football analogy, it might sound a bit crass, but when you've got Sir Alex Ferguson, it's a difficult thing to follow. The next act is always a difficult act.
There is that.
So in a way, because everyone remembers this country, the Queen, and what she brought to her position as head of this country. The King knows that currently that he's got to make sure that he doesn't rock the boat, keeps the country with the institution, so that when it is William's time, then it is able for him to put his own stamp on the position.
We shall see. Thank you very much indeed, Rupert Bell, their Talk Radio's royal correspondent.